Welcome to Hops News, the trusted source in beer culture news. Here's your host, Jay Brew.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Hops News. I'm excited about this, and we've got a professional chef that's going to join us for a segment here a little bit later, talk about brining some turkeys. He cooked up some turkeys this weekend. I heard it was amazing. Have yet to try it, but I'm definitely going to try his recipe, and looking forward to talking to our own professional personal chef here in a little bit to get his take on how he did it. Got a new segment coming up. A regular guest now. They've kind of become a regular, and obviously you guys see us pushing them enough. And if you follow Matt's personal social media accounts and the Geeks accounts, you will see that Matt uses these guys on almost a daily basis. So looking forward to having Hop Barons join us again here this evening. Talk a little bit more about Thanksgiving and what it is that you can do with Hop Barons to get things kicked off for the holiday weekend. And we'll talk a little bit more about that and have our own personal chef join us to discuss the secrets to it. It's been an eventful month. It's good to be back in front of the camera. You see that I'm in a new location. If anybody follows myself or my wife, we let one go out of the nest this week. So my wife's a little down and out and has had better weeks, but tomorrow should be a little bit better. We get to go pick up our dog from the trainers in the morning. He's been away for 6 weeks. She sent us a video, and about a 30 to 45 minute video today on how to use him when we get him back. So family's looking forward to going to pick him up in the morning and having him back in the house, and hopefully feeling a little bit better around here. But it's going to be a busy week. Friday is Lakeland's birthday, and got some festivities planned around that. And then next week when I join you, it may be Matt that's producing this show next week, because I start the new gig on Monday in Virginia Beach, and I'll literally might be living out of my truck if I don't find a place to stay down there. So I might be joining you guys via Matt as he's doing the production, maybe through my cell phone behind the driver's seat of my truck. if things don't turn around for me. So hopefully I'll be able to find a place to crash and call home while I'm there. But if not, we'll make it happen. So next week should be a little bit interesting for us. We have Allsops. These guys, the rest of the hosts, have some beer. We're going to have those guys join us next week to talk a little bit about what they're doing. So hopefully everything's going well. Let us know. I'm in a new location, as you can see. I've changed rooms into a little bit bigger area. Hopefully I've got the technology worked out. But if there's any issues, let me know in the chat, and we'll try to address it if anything comes up. Been a great week. Hey, it's definitely stout season. And it wouldn't be stout season without Hardywood making an appearance. Yeah, I would imagine these guys will be in the homes of many people. For some reason, I find, and maybe they only do stouts, I don't know, but their stouts are all over the place.
Yeah, I think by them.
Really? Is it as palatable as their stouts? Do they do good IPAs?
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, Micah sent me a pumpkin ale from them too, and their pumpkin ale was pretty flavorful. It's like a farmhouse pumpkin ale.
I heard their gingerbread though is like supposed to be the best.
Didn't you get their gingerbread last year? I think we all had their gingerbread. I was gonna say, right?
I got a Christmas one from Micah, and I got a Christmas one from somebody else because I had posted one that Micah sent, and somebody else was like, "Oh, I have a bottle. I'll meet." And he met me at a brewery, and we did a beer trade. So I think I ended up with 3 different Christmas ones, and they were all fantastic.
On the internet?
You know, some of my friends I do beer trades with are people I've actually met in person. Not before the internet, but yeah. Some of them before the internet.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. Hey, let's why we've got Lauren down there. Let's go check in with Lauren at Orlando. Lauren, how's things going in Orlando?
It's wet and chilly, but we're surviving. So we had to turn the air conditioning off this week and open the window. It was a struggle, but we're okay. To me though, it's always stout season, but I'm actually drinking a Kolsch tonight, which isn't my usual go-to, but it's from Castle Church Brewing. It's called Katie's Kolsch, and it's Orlando. Obviously, I talk about them a lot. It's only 5.6%. I'm taking it easy tonight because I'm leaving for a 3-day concert in Fort Lauderdale tomorrow morning, so I need to wake up feeling good. But this brewery, all their beer names are like some sort of churchy. Oh, they're already packed in my bag. But yeah, but I need more than vitamins, so I still got to watch myself. But at Funky Buddha, we'll have a tent there, so I'll be drinking Funky Buddha all weekend. But so Katie in Katie's Kolsch is actually Martin Luther's wife, and she brewed beer. So this is her beer at the church, and they actually have a beer there that is based on Martin Luther's beer recipe and a whole bunch of really cool beer names that are church names as well. But it's an awesome brewery. Anybody who comes to Orlando, that's one I wish Matt and I had gone to, but it was a little bit out of the way. One day.
Next time. In the words of one roadie, next time, baby.
Yeah, and then that roadie never got that next time. So I love the logo too. See, it's a little hop with a halo.
You sent me their hat last year through our Secret Santa. I still have that. I rocked that in the rig.
Nice. I didn't get you this year, and that's all I'll say.
Well, that's a spoiler.
Spoilers. And that's how it's going down here.
A 3-day concert. Is your liver ready for this?
Yeah, well, this is only my 4th year. I missed 1 year because I was super pregnant. But this is supposed to be April 2020. So they finally rescheduled it. And it's vaccine required or negative COVID test. And I went to go find my vaccine card and couldn't. So that's why I said I might jump on late. I had to run up to Publix and go get another vaccine card. But
did you get a pub sub at least?
No, because I wasn't sure we were going to have time. So Josh ordered, because I told him I go order the subs and I'll just pick them up there. And then I was concerned I wasn't going to make it back by 8. So we ended up ordering pizza. I still got out of making dinner though, so it was a win-win. But it's from like noon to 10, and it's on the beach, and they have 3 stages all 3 days. And then there's like a whole conservation village of like Coral Restoration Company and University of Miami shark tagging, and it's all like, for the ocean. But it's toes in the sand on the beach. It's awesome. Matt would hate it though because the headliners are all country.
Ugh. Hands on my knees, shaking ass on my thought shit. That's what I'm about. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
You heard that song? You've heard that song yet?
I don't know. I don't know what you kids listen to these days.
I listen to mosh pit music, so definitely not country.
We'll be listening to country on the way there, and on the way back, we'll be listening to Christmas music.
When I was a young boy, my father took me to the city
Okay.
to see a black parade.
I think it's time to turn the camera to Matt.
Yeah, let's go check in with Matt out in Mountain Home, Idaho. Matt, how are things going out there? Got snow up to your ass yet or what?
No, but we have snow in our mountains, so it always is nice and pretty because when you're driving home, you can see the snow on the top of the mountains, and it's like, this is nice because last year was a mild winter and we didn't get a lot of that, but we've gotten a lot of rain lately, which is actually pretty bizarre. But living's good, man. We got free Boise State tickets for Friday, and then they also gave us free tickets to the Price is Right Live, so I'm trying to go win one of those fancy vacations, man. I'm, $1, Drew. Whoa, that's gonna be me. Bill out there, $1,001, Drew, and piss everybody off out there. So that's the goal.
Nice.
But,
That should be a good game. Good game for you. Hopefully cold weather.
yeah, it's gonna be chilly. I think the low is like 40 degrees, man. That's just football weather right there. That is football weather. My wife's like, it's gonna be cold. You're gonna make me sit in the cold. But I'm like, man, that's just good old fashioned football weather. They're wearing the all blacks. It's gonna look good against that blue field. And man, it's just last home game that I'm gonna get to for the season because I actually go and I am playing in a basketball tournament next weekend in Walla Walla, Washington, and doing my research on that area. There are 4 breweries and like 200 wineries in the area, so it's gonna be. I'm gonna like in between getting my ass beat on the basketball court. I'm just gonna go like all the stiffness, soreness. I'm just gonna go and drink a glass or two of wine and maybe a couple flights of beer and be good to go for the next game.
Yeah, that's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting football game for those getting cold seasons, man. It's going to be a cold one up here Saturday as well. I think the high is going to be 34 degrees.
Jesus, that's football weather
on
man.
game day. So
put a little snow in the air, a little flurry. That is
Yeah.
that's the weather I'm talking about. That is the best weather.
Don't leave
man.
your house weather.
No.
The high's only going to be 80 on Saturday, and I'm bringing
Only
a jacket.
80. What?
And I bought beach pants because the low's going to be like 73.
Ugh,
It gets
brother.
dark early now.
Listen, I actually have a beer for Lauren tonight because all of us who have kids, what is one thing you, as the dad, always say? Ask your mom. So that's the beer I'm drinking tonight. It's called Ask Your Mom from Aslan Brewing Company. A double IPA brewed with milk sugar, 9.4%, and it actually came from Micah. So I just wanted to shout out Micah before I forget to introduce my beer. It's a wicked good, hazy, good, delicious. Tastes a little sweet, not too strong. Doesn't taste like a 9.4, but man, you brought beach pants because it's only going to be 80. God, I would be running around naked on that beach because it's 80 degrees and I can't, I hate being hot. Ugh.
I love
Gross.
being hot. I hate being cold.
I love being cold. Cold weather is for me. Hoodie and shorts. I will live and die with an iced coffee, a nice pumpkin cream cold brew. Mint.
See, my problem is I hate cold, but I also hate wearing real clothes. So when it's cold, I'm just really angry because I have to wear clothes.
See,
I have to wear pants.
I'm wicked hot when it's I'm wicked angry when it's hot because I'm just angry because you're just like hot and sweaty and you feel gross and you're like
You just
can't
gotta
cool
own it
down.
and know it's gonna happen and embrace
No.
it.
And I'm like it's all fine and all, but when you're not like a 6'4" gangling Bigfoot looking dude who's like sweats easily, come on, gross.
You just have to adapt.
No, I had lived there for 5 years.
So my
I
dad
never
is
adapted.
6'4", and this is his first winter in Daytona because he just moved to Daytona Beach from Fort Lauderdale, and he's been in South Florida he graduated from UM in like 1980, I think, and he's been in Florida since. So he came up to Orlando for a UM Kentucky or Louisville bowl game in January. He was freezing. I brought him a blanket, and my dad, who is also 6'4", is like huddled up in this UM blanket, freezing to death. So,
I don't know
Dad,
what
if
I'm
you're
doing with
listening
you.
tonight, I hope you're staying warm in this weather.
I've experienced Lambeau Field in the cold, and that was heaven. Like I was.
I feel like our
heaven.
guest is like, y'all are ridiculous.
Chris is
We need to move
Chris is
on.
still out there in
Let's talk
Pennsylvania.
about rubs.
Yeah.
Talk about
Speaking
sports.
of Chris, let's go check in with Chris before we talk about too much stuff that isn't pertinent to him. Chris, appreciate
Anyone else.
you joining us tonight again from Hops Barons headquarters there in Long Valley, New Jersey. How's things going out there in New Jersey? You guys got snow yet?
We did not. I was just looking at the temperature, though. It's going to get to 28 tonight. So,
Nice.
Matt,
Beautiful.
we would get along hoodie and shorts. That is literally what I live in.
We're gonna be sitting out there around a fire in a nice
Oh,
hoodie.
it's.
Nice crisp air.
I
That's
mean,
the life.
the idea of sweating and being hot. Like we just took Jay and I just took a trip. We did two football stadiums last week, and we went to Phoenix. And I was chasing every.
Did you
piece
go to
of
the
shit I
Packers
could
game?
find. We did go to the Packers game.
You're gonna withhold that information from
We
me.
went to the Packers game. We
You
also then
lucky.
went to SoFi Stadium for the Chargers and New England game.
You son of a bitch.
Now, however, and I will
want my
admit
invite
something.
next time you go to a Packers game. Like,
However, I
Alex,
will
we
admit something though. We did leave before that all happened.
Why? What?
So, yeah, I don't know why. We were at a bar, but yeah. Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, we did. It was one of those where like I can't believe we were there. We're watching us on TV.
Oh,
And we were there.
I would have been like, all right, guys, I'm gonna meet up with you, and then, because I knew how this was gonna. I was sitting on my couch like, yep, Packers are gonna blow it like they always do. My wife's like, could you please shut up? And I'm like,
And
"No,
we
I
were-
can't."
So I don't know if I ever told you guys. So we go to different football games every year, and we actually dress like the home team. So we've been doing it. Our first game was actually in
Oh, how
2005. We went to Green Bay, and Jay and I bought last row seats, $300, and then I found like cheaper seats, maybe 10 rows forward, that were like $280. So we ended up getting two buddies, like packed into my little tiny Audi, and drove from New Jersey all the way out to Green Bay to see Brett Favre in his last year. You know, when he retired 8 times. Yeah,
The
it was
first
like
of his
absurd.
many last years.
Exactly. So it actually started where now Jay and I, every year we go to different stadiums, and we've knocked off, I
Dude.
think, 21 of them.
That is what me and my best friend Josh. That is like what we're trying to do as well. We
Yeah.
were supposed to go to Chicago this year, but we couldn't because of COVID. So we were gonna go see Green Bay because it's Aaron Rodgers probably last year as a Packer, and that's what we were gonna do. And, man, you live in my
It's-
dream. We would definitely
yeah.
get along. The cold weather,
I know,
football
and-
stadiums, like,
So I'm an Eagles fan and he's a Giants fan. So we don't go when our teams are playing, and we dress like the home team so you can tailgate. No one's giving you shit. Now, granted, I come from Philly where if you're wearing the other team's stuff,
you're
like
gonna get beat with a battery in a
Yeah.
sock. Yeah.
when we were in Green Bay, like I got so drunk we were yelling at Steelers fans, and a Green Bay fan was like, "We don't do that here." And literally, the four of us were like, "Why
My
not?"
bad.
Like, we were like, "The Steelers."
Cold wear my Packer stuff, and like, I'm from New England.
I was say
and,
you
like,
haven't
they were
gone to Philly
ruthless.
yet, then.
No, I don't know if I'm brave. I would not wear Packers gear in Philly, or Oakland, or not Oakland anymore, but the Niners and Philly. Those are like two places where I would just be the most neutral looking fan until. Like,
So
I
we
got
did Niners 3 years ago. They're nuts.
They are crazy.
They're full on nuts. We went to a Thursday night game. Their tailgate was insane. They were crazy fans.
Yeah,
like-
they're insane.
I was so surprised.
If you guys haven't been to Vegas yet, my friend Josh actually he's been to every Vegas home game this year so far. So if you guys end up going to Vegas at any point, let me know. And he lives there, and I'm more than happy to go down and meet you guys.
Okay. So we have framed our stadiums because we were like, we want to finish our stadium at a Super Bowl. So we've left all of Florida's left, New Orleans, Vegas. We're starting to hover to where we can find out when the stadium's going to have the
Yeah.
Super Bowl, and then frame it around that. But
That's a good
yeah,
idea.
so we would definitely we get along because it's I wore a hoodie and shorts the entire time, even though it was 98 degrees out.
I would see me too. I lived in Florida. I used to go jogging in long sleeve and hoodies, and yeah,
But you said you don't like the heat. I'm so confused.
I don't, but I want to also be comfortable wearing a hoodie and shorts.
Yeah. It's about
That's what I
comfort.
want to wear.
But a hoodie would be uncomfortable in the hot weather.
But if I'm working out, it doesn't matter because I'm sweating anyways.
I mean, then it doesn't. Sure. Okay. I don't know.
Anyways. Speaking of tailgating, we got some Thanksgiving football coming up, and what better way to tailgate than to brine a turkey?
Hey.
Yes, but before we get into the brine and the turkey aspect of it, I have seen the reports in the chat of some freezing.
A lot of people are cold.
Yeah, that I think might be an issue, but I think the other issue is
Oh, I thought they were cold.
yeah. No, they said we're freezing on this end, so I'm trying to address that. So if you guys see us come and go, that's what's going on. But we'll hopefully take care of that and get that sorted out, and hopefully get everything taken care of for you guys, because definitely want to try to make it as painless as possible tonight. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the brine. Obviously, we worked with Chris and Hops Barons really through the R&D aspect of it. I think we came out with a solid product, brought in bottle share. They've done an initiative, and I think that's still going on over there at Hop Barons with the initiative with the brine. Chris, tell us a little bit about that. Maybe give us a little bit of backstory for those that aren't familiar with that project and how we got to where we're at today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you guys had us on, and thank you. We love coming on here. Jay could not make it tonight. He has a very busy social life. And so you guys had us on, and we started talking brines, which is not something I'd ever done. And we basically worked with you guys, had you guys test some of the brine. I'd done some research. Jeremy, I know you had, given me some pointers about different things. Obviously, we use hops, so to us that was a no-brainer because it actually brings out more of the hop flavor, like being in the brine versus even in the rubs. And we just started messing around with it. And I think we came up with a great product. It is one of our top sellers at markets, and we actually have a big market this Sunday. Where we're, it's one of the big things we're going to be bringing because obviously for Thanksgiving, but as we're having conversations with people, it's so funny how many people have never tried brining. So the fact that we actually put the instructions on the back of it was super helpful for people. I've had people contact me and say like, I didn't have enough, liquid, so I just added water. Is that okay? I'm like, of course. I was like, it's very flavorful. But so we actually give half of all the proceeds to Bottle Share. So what we're doing is, taking obviously what the cost is and half that goes to them. So obviously supports a good cause. And that's going to be as long as we have the brine. So it's going to be ongoing. So there's no end to that. We have gone through a lot of cycles of making it. So it has been one of our top products since we launched it, especially at the markets. And we're starting.
That's weird. It's ham.
It was super weird. It was ham for me too.
We've done turkey. Well, I don't eat ham, so we've done turkey on Christmas. But my first time brining was a few months ago with the brine.
Yeah, I mean, it's super easy, and I find it really flavorful. I did something similar to what you're going to talk about, Matt. I took a cheap frozen turkey from a grocery store to see if I could actually enjoy it because I'm not like a huge turkey fan, and I usually get a fresh turkey because they're a little more flavorful, and it was phenomenal.
I mean, that's what I did as well, because I was like, if there's ever a testament to the amount of flavor that you get out of this brine and everything, I was like, here we go, because my wife always gets a pretty free, fresh turkey for working at the hospital here, and obviously most people hunt and kill their own turkeys here because it's big out this way, hunting, It's actually elk and moose season right now, but yeah, she was like, this is one of the best turkeys that I've ever had. And I'm like, man, I'm ready to make my Thanksgiving turkey like that because it's going to be an even bigger one. And I'm just going to mow on that till Christmas time.
So that's where we're at with the brine. It's going well.
Yeah, people can be, if you haven't experimented with brine before, it can be a little bit intimidating to begin with because people, generally don't throw their meat in water and let it soak overnight or for extended periods of time. It's almost counterproductive of what people think about when they think about seasoning their meat before they cook it. So it's a little bit, it takes some getting used to, but I will tell you, I swear by it now. Pork and poultry are brined all the time. What most people don't realize is their pork and poultry that they generally buy from the grocery store is brined. They just don't realize it. So a lot of it comes, it just doesn't have the seasoning. So when you go and get your turkey this year, you're going to look at the package and it's going to say it's like 3% sodium solution. And that's what they've done. They've already injected it basically with what you try to do with the seasoning and that sort of thing. So it happens. If you get fresh meat, right, if you have a local butcher or whatever it may be and you get fresh meat, realize that hasn't been done to your turkey or your pork yet. So it's pretty important. I think you'll be surprised. There's a lot of studies out there. You can go down a rabbit hole on YouTube. I'm sure Chris has been down that rabbit hole. There's a lot of people that put a lot of time into it to prove, how much of an impact brining meat has. So all the way from weight differences between brined and non-brined meat, pre-cooked, after-cooked. Obviously, it's all the differences in the water and the moisture content of the meat afterwards. So, a lot of good evidence out there to say you should be doing it to get the best benefit from what you're going to cook. And I will tell you, if you haven't been to the supermarket and priced meat lately, you need to spend a little bit extra time and money in making sure that it's right, because the meat products at the grocery store are outrageous. And if you have room in your refrigerator or freezer for your turkey, go ahead and snag that baby up now. Otherwise, you may not have one when it comes to Thanksgiving dinner, because from my understanding, there's going to be quite a shortage this year of Thanksgiving birds. So go grab those. Before we go a little bit further, let's go. So what we've done, and just to give you a little bit more of where we've gone from the brining conversation, Chris and Hops Barons, I mean, really, this has been almost a constant conversation since the brine. Matt has worked with him recently on a habanero rub that I had to bow out gracefully.
It was hot and spicy, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It ruined me for 2 days.
Yeah.
I was like, at first I was like, this isn't so bad. And then I was like, oh
It's
God,
the after.
first one. And then by the time I got to the third different taste, I was like, oh, baby. Like,
Yeah.
And funny enough, the third one is the one I like the most out of the ones I tried. But yeah, oof.
Yeah, I will tell you that I can't, I couldn't be a part of that, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to give whatever it is that Chris was trying to accomplish with it, it's proper due, because I am not a spicy food person, and I know that would have set me on fire for days. So I left that one up to Mash. Mash took one for the team and helped
Well,
those
I'm here
guys
for
out.
science reasons, right? I'll try anything twice.
And
Yeah,
if anyone out there wants to try it, drop us a line on Instagram or Facebook, and we'll get you samples, because we're still trying to get some tasters. It actually is very hard to find tasters of the habanero.
Hey,
The ghost pepper, not even habanero.
yeah. I can definitely get my son involved. He loves the spicy stuff, and he enjoys cooking. So I can get you. He actually just recently moved up to Michigan, Chris. So I can
Okay, yeah,
I can get you
absolutely.
his mailing information if you'd be interested. But yeah, if you're interested, obviously take Chris up on it. It's pretty interesting. It's especially if you're not actively involved in the conversation with Chris. It'll be a real blind tasting, and that's where the best information that those guys can get from you is. We were a part of it here with the brine stuff, and it was great to be a part of it and great to see it. So the conversation since has picked up. Right, I guess probably typically the three of us, sometimes Lucky as well, on this side of the mic, we all enjoy cooking and cook on a fairly regular basis. One thing that I think we've done recently is tried to involve beer and Hops Barons a little bit more often in what we do in our personal lives.
Almost daily.
Yeah, I mean, really,
I
it's,
honestly, like, my morning starts with Hot Barons, because I put the coffee rub on my egg, because I make a breakfast sandwich every morning. So, like, every morning I'm putting that or the maple rub in my eggs for my breakfast sandwich. So it is a daily thing.
yeah, and
We appreciate that.
And it's been an interesting, I told everybody this in the beginning when we started talking about the rubs. The fact that it has hops in it is very interesting. If you're a hops fan, you can definitely pick up on the hops in the rubs, and especially in the brine. So that's been the interesting aspect of it for me. And I do, I cook fairly often, especially smoking meats, and I'm doing it again this weekend for our daughter's birthday. And I will tell you, I've spent a lot of money on rubs. It's hard to beat the quality, right? One thing that I will tell you is the rubs that you get from these guys don't sit on the shelves for months, 6 months, sometimes a year, like you're going to find at the Lowe's and everything else, the big box stores that a lot of people will get their rubs from. So very fresh. People undervalue the importance of freshness in rubs and stuff like this, but it's very important, and you're going to notice the difference right away. So we've in the Hops News side of things, we've talked a little bit, it's been a few months ago, on what we could do to try to leverage what it is that we all enjoy and provide a little bit more content. So what we've come up with is is we're going to start to produce a new segment. We've generically titled it Cooking with Beer to begin with. I think we'll come up with some more creative name over the time that makes it a little bit more flashy, but that's what we're going to call it for the time being. I hope that we can get to a point where we're producing a segment every week or so during the live show that we air during the live show. But I think in the beginning, maybe every 2 weeks, we'll air a Cooking with Beer segment that will premiere during the live episode on Wednesday that we'll later upload to YouTube's and have available in a playlist over there. That being said, Matt was our very first guinea pig and our first professional chef to kind of explain the use of the brine and then the turkey. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We've got a quick message from Hop Barons. They've put together a little crafty little commercial for us to do a segue. And what I will tell you guys is, as everything with Hops News, this is just the beginning. All of this will evolve. You'll see some renditions of this that change very frequently, but this will kind of be the starter for us. So stick around. It's only a few minutes worth of content that's recorded, but you definitely don't want to miss Masher's turkey brining. So
It was delicious.
let's go take a look at that.
Would your friends rather eat your dog food than your food? Would your dog rather eat his dog food than your food? Is your barbecue funnier than your dad jokes? Does your wife buy generic seasonings? If so, then you need Hop Barons. All of our rubs are made with locally fresh ingredients like Cascade hops and locally roasted coffee. It is great with any meat, vegetable, or tofu. Even our brine for this Thanksgiving turkey. For all your spice needs, go to hopbarons.com. We're ready to season you.
So, we're going to go ahead and brine a turkey with the Hop Barons Hops News collab brine. First things first, 4 bottles of the Sam Adams, an 8-pound turkey, and 2 bags of this delicious, delicious brine.
Today, we're brining turkey.
Next, we've got our container to go ahead and boil the brine. We're going to want to boil the beer, and then that's when you enter the brine. So, let's pour. So once it starts to boil, we're going to take 2 of these packs and we're going to dump it right into there. Now, once you have everything mixed in, it's boiled, put the brine in, good to go. Go ahead, remove it from heat, let it cool down for a little bit before you put it in. Let it sit for 2 to 4 overnight, whatever. After he's been sitting in the brine for overnight, I'm gonna go ahead and rub it up with some good, delicious seasoning. set at 250. And as you can see, we are good after 5 hours of smoking. It is literally falling off the bone. So hard to get a really great picture of how beautiful it was, but there it is. Enjoy.
All right, that was our premiere of Cooking with Beer and a little bit of commercial from Hops Barons. I will explain, and I'll let Chris talk about it. Hops News is the promo code on Hop Barons. Chris, what do they get if they use the promo code?
I believe it's 20% off. I actually forget. I think it's 20% off.
Yep, 20% off.
Yeah, 20%
Awesome.
off. And that's on unlimited uses. So you come back, purchase a second time, use it over and over and over again. It'll be up, forever. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I do want to show something because I don't think we never had this on. So we actually have a sample pack, which they are like little mini airplane bottles
I'm gonna be down in that stuff on the airplane.
of all the main 5. So the spicy, regular, mustard, coffee, and lemon pepper. And they come in a nice little fancy thing if you want it for holidays.
That's a good gift for
You're
Dad.
right.
Just saying.
Yeah, so that's another big thing we do around Christmas. We didn't have it last year because a lot of the markets were canceled. And then this year we had a whole, I don't know if we talked about this, we had the whole supply chain issue. We actually had to go to those new bottles. So we updated our sample pack. Yeah, full disclosure, I was in conversations with China, going to get an entire shipping container of cans sent to me. And it was just a logistical nightmare. And we just had to say, like, we can't. It just didn't make sense. And cans are impossible to find.
yeah.
That's a shame because I know you made
I
the
know.
cans so they look like old beer bottles, but
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
no,
So
Makes
we're going to do
sense.
some special ones, like the one we're going to come out with the ghost pepper is going to be in like a glass flask.
Oh, nice.
So we're still going to do some of that stuff. It's just to get it in the bulk we needed was near impossible. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even tell you. I called some of the most random companies in the world just to be like, can you get me this? And, I found one, but it was a nightmare. And I don't know if you guys heard the whole Port of LA and that whole backup.
It's a nightmare.
It actually was going to go through the Port of LA.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sort of lucky.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's an interesting time. Obviously, with everything that's going on with the shipping and the supply chain. If you're interested, Chris, what is kind of their last day to purchase the brine to make sure they get it there at least a couple of days before Thanksgiving?
I mean, I'd say to be safe, the 19th, 19th, 20th. We should be able to get it there based on everything. We are using, UPS a little bit more, so that's not a problem too. And if you have a preference on UPS over, the Postal Service, let us know. I think you can put that in when you're completing the order. And we're finding it's a lot more consistent. The post office is the one we're having more issues with tracking and things taking a little bit longer. And so I'd say the 19th.
Newman.
Yeah, the 19th, 20th.
That makes sense.
Nice. Can still get it out the door. Take advantage of the 20% off. I will tell you that's going to come out to about your shipping, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're definitely going to save some money on that. So
Yep.
go check that out. Definitely a great product. Chris's, I'm sure, inbox is wide open. If you have any questions after you get it, how to use it, what to do with it, any challenges during cooking, I'll be honest with you.
And I do want to point out, because we get this question, the alcohol doesn't actually stay in the turkey.
Right, I feed it to my kids.
No,
Yeah.
no. It
You would be
doesn't.
amazed how many people ask that, and I'm like, no, it cooks out.
Yeah, like when you cook it, it
Yeah.
it leaves.
It's
If
like beer
you've ever-
cheese.
Yeah. Like if you've ever cooked, like rum bread or whatever it is,
Yep.
like any sort of alcohol.
The
cooks
rum
out.
cake can get you
Rum-
drunk, though.
yeah.
can't
The rum
it?
cake
I
can
was
get
gonna
Depends.
say.
But if you like cook with wine and stuff, that usually it leaves the flavor, but
Yeah.
takes the alcohol out.
Yep.
Like my kids love beer cheese.
Oh God, beer cheese with a pretzel, drinking a beer and a cool. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's gonna be one of my cooking with beer. Don't steal my idea, Matt.
no, I don't.
know.
Hey.
Honestly, I usually smoke like a whole chicken using the brine or the rubs, and like I said, I could do a breakfast sandwich one. Like so, between us three right here, we've got plenty of ideas for our cooking segments because
Yeah.
it's something that gets used. Lauren uses it every day. I use it every day. So
Well, I use it on a lot of the vegan stuff too, because like I don't eat red meat or pork, and you know I had even said before you guys had a vegan meatball recipe on your thing,
Yep.
and like my 9-year-old even loves it. She's like, "Did you put the bad butt rub on the burgers tonight?" So she gets excited about it. And Matt and I were on another podcast, and I don't know how it came up. Maybe because we had made burgers that night or something. I don't know. And we mentioned it, and they're like, "So do they like send you this stuff for free?" And we're like, "No, we just love it so much." They're like, "We really thought they were like paying you guys to say this stuff." We're like, "No, we're
No.
just fans."
Well, we appreciate it.
we don't push product that we don't believe in.
And we try and give you a little. We try and give you guys extra stuff as we send out those packages.
No,
And
I would
we
say you guys have
appreciate it.
done more than hook us up enough. So yeah, seriously, it's appreciated. This is a product that I was never one person to like use rubs and things like that until I started, got introduced through the podcast and things. So it's something I cook regularly now.
You
All that
replace your
stuff.
spice drawer. My spices aren't really going anywhere these days.
I use spices for like the kids and stuff because they're at that age where they're like, ew, too much flavor. And then my wife's not a big fan of too much flavor and stuff. Just she's not. But
Too much
me,
flavor.
It's just white people.
That's
they
my
just don't know what to do with all
4-year-old.
that spice.
It's true. It's true.
Logan won't even sit next to me if I have ketchup on my plate.
Yeah, my wife hates ketchup and mustard, all that stuff. But me, I'm like, slather it up. Let's go.
Nice.
I've never looked forward to making a turkey before. I think we're going to Brandon or my brother's on Thanksgiving, so I'll be making a turkey on Christmas then. Maybe I'm actually looking forward to this.
Interesting.
I hate cooking, and I'm looking forward to this. What have you done to me? I don't know.
See,
what's
I
happening.
usually host a bunch of the airmen over, so I don't know if we're gonna do that this year. But a lot of the people who live in the dorms and stuff. But if I do, that's how I'm making the turkey. So
Well, if you pull a turkey out like you just showed on that video, Matt, you're gonna have fans for
the
life.
problem is like it was cooked perfect. Like it was literally falling off the bone, and so like I wanted to get like a really good shot of the turkey, but then it just looked bad because it was literally just melting off which is what you want.
Right.
But for aesthetically pleasing purposes, I was like, man, I got to get like the good shots because if I got a good angle, this thing is just like melting apart, and the meat was so tender and just juicy, and I was like, my God, I wanted to eat the whole thing right there, but I had promised people I was going to bring it to work to feed everybody, so I was like, I would have ate this whole damn turkey right here.
Yeah.
When Chris had mentioned the turkey salad, so if it's falling right off the bone, that makes it even easier and better.
Yep.
Exactly, like it melted right off, and I was like, it was the bright spot to my Sunday because I had to watch Jordan Love go out there and get obliterated. And
Jordan Love's
so
my future franchise fantasy football quarterback.
I
so.
actually had picked him up, and so I have him and Trey Lance in a dynasty league. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
He's
So,
the
Chris-
hope of my entire team. So I might be screwed.
Yeah. So, Chris, if people are going out to pick up the brine to use the brine in their turkey, what kind of rubs you guys offering that you would recommend on that turkey?
So we actually have a special on the website where you get a brine and a rub. You can choose any of the rubs. I recommend our spicy or regular. Those are by far my favorite on the turkeys. People love lemon pepper. That's not necessarily, I'll be honest, not my go-to. I do love the mustard rub. I haven't tried it on turkey. And I have had people say they use coffee on the chicken, but I would say my two are the regular and the spicy. That would be my go-to.
Yep. Well, I will tell you, I'm going to put the coffee rub and the mustard rub in overtime. This weekend is our daughter's birthday, and my daughter is kind of spoiled when it comes to cooking. She asked for a brisket and pulled pork for her birthday party. So I'm going to do a video. It'll probably not our next cooking with beer segment, but maybe the one following that. I'm going to do it's probably going to be a 2-part, one the brisket and then one the pulled pork, using some Hop Barons products. So go check out those. Those are soon to be following in our cooking with beer segments. And I will tell you right now, that coffee rub on brisket, Jesus, son, you'll slap your mother over a piece of that damn brisket. I will tell you that right now. That coffee rub on a piece of beef it doesn't get any better than that. I will be very honest with you. I was a coffee rub fan before I came across Hop Barons, and I knew they were serious when I seen they had a coffee rub. I don't know that I would have taken them serious if they didn't have a coffee rub, but they had a coffee rub on their website, and I knew they knew something about rubs. So if you're cooking any beef,
we appreciate it.
Yeah, if you're cooking any beef, don't forget those guys. And I will tell you, Chris and I talked a little bit about this. I think we talked more about their football trip because that's a pretty cool thing that they've got going on together. But the coffee rub, Chris, talk a little bit about what you guys are doing with local roasters in the coffee rub.
Yeah, so we're actually trying to get into different local markets by finding local roasters and creating a rub out of that coffee. So, Matt, we actually have a really good friend of ours who lives in Boise, and he sent me a coffee from, I should know the name. It's like two names, and we made it, and he sent it back, and he's going to go have a conversation with them because the concept is we want to try and create a little more buzz in a local market, by creating that, but by making it local. Because if you're Hop Barons in your PA and you're in Idaho, well, what's the relevancy? Obviously, we have the hops. So if people have ideas, there's roasters out there. We're finding it's so similar to beer, the coffee world. And what's interesting is one of the concepts we're trying to do is, think about, you go to the website, you go and buy the coffee rub, you can actually select the coffee you want in the rub that you're going to buy. Meaning, like if we have 4 or 5 different coffees, I was messing around with one that's like a Costa Rican, this coffee roaster in Jersey. I'm having a conversation with another one outside of Philly, and I want to pick different types of roasts. So if you're, you can get like an Ethiopian in your coffee rub, stuff like that. So yeah, we're trying to. I also am talking. Well, we're going to get some hops from a hop farm in Jersey. So I'm trying to, pair that with the coffee roaster and actually do more of a Jersey product. Because I live in Jersey, our company's in PA, but right over the border, and just help create a little more of that local atmosphere. So if anyone knows coffee roasters out there, since we're small and we have the ability to be nimble and the way we do our batches, we have really low runs that we can do, and create a cool product.
Yeah, if he needs any backup out here talking to any of the coffee roasters, anything like that, I'm in Boise regularly. I don't mind meeting up and being like, dude, let's do this together, or getting you connected with any hop yards out here, anything like that. Like, I'm more than happy to help at any point.
Yeah, it was called Dawson Taylor. Have you ever heard of them?
Dawson Taylor. Let me see. There's
Do they have pumpkin spice
coffee shops
That's
all around.
Yeah,
that's
If they don't have pumpkin spice coffees, chances
Then he
are
probably hasn't heard.
Matt doesn't know them.
See, we would get along because I'm the
Yeah, dude, you're into the pumpkin spice. You
yeah. It's
Oh
absurd.
gosh, you guys
My
gonna go
man.
do karate in the garage?
Yeah,
Listen,
got a man
I know
crush
exactly
going on
where they're
here.
at. So Dawson Taylor, yeah, they're literally on Restaurant Row. There's this row of restaurants right downtown. There's a bunch that I always go to. There's actually a bunch of breweries in that area. Yeah, I've seen them. I know exactly where they're at.
All right,
So
well,
I
you
ordered
guys,
a couple.
Well, you
and
guys
then made
start the courting relationship going on here. We're going to go check in with Lauren and learn a little bit about some beer school. Lauren, you got some beer school for us tonight?
I do actually. I put this together last month, and it never. We just have had so many entertaining guests. I haven't done it. So this is actually about home brewing laws. So in 1919, this country went to shit when everyone decided they were going to pretend to stop drinking. And when Prohibition finally ended, home brewing remained illegal. So it was not until President Jimmy Carter was in office that this began to change. So President Carter had a little brother named Billy, who was a self-proclaimed redneck. He was also a big fan of beer and home brewing. On October 14th, 1978, Jimmy Carter signed Bill H.R. 1337, which contained an amendment that exempted home brewing from federal taxes and finally lifted regulations on it that were left over from Prohibition. Shortly thereafter, Billy Carter teamed up with Falls City Brewing and made Billy Beer. The can actually said, quote, "I had this beer brewed up just for me. I think it's the best I've ever tasted, and I've tasted a lot. I think you'll like it too." End quote. Signed, Billy Carter. Apparently it was not the best, though, and years later Billy joked that Billy Beer was the reason he quit drinking. Many early craft brewers, including Jack McAuliffe, I'm not sure exactly to say that, who started the very first microbrewery post-Prohibition in the States, were inspired to homebrew after visiting Europe and getting a taste of what real beer was and not being able to buy it in the States, so they had to brew it. This led very slowly to the craft beer movement we know today. While no one was barging down doors to arrest homebrewers, making it legal definitely led to an increase of access to resources and information. Jack, who opened New Albion Brewing 2 years prior to the signing of the previously mentioned bill, was definitely homebrewing before that. One of the results of repealing Prohibition was giving states the power to control a lot of alcohol regulation. So while federal barricades were lifted, it was not actually legal to homebrew in all 50 states until 2013, much like marijuana still is an issue federally. So Mississippi and Alabama were the last to legalize homebrewing. However, Alabama had Good People Brewing open in 2008, and I would guess someone there was homebrewing before then.
Never.
So there are still different specific regulations in each state and some odd laws here and there. There are also caps as to how much you can brew. Some of the laws will probably stick around without enforcement, but a lot of them are just not priority in the grand scheme of things, so they incidentally stay. In conclusion, in light of last month being the 43rd anniversary of Billy Carter's big brother signing a bill to make homebrewing legal and help America get to the craft beer mecca that we are today, we raise a glass to Billy Beer. Cheers.
Hey, speaking of homebrew, I gotta get Jay and Chris. I'd be down to get you a bottle of the homebrew I have, and Lauren, I gotta get you another bottle as well.
Ooh.
Because
I
it is
did do a little beer review that I have to put together, but it was really good. I like it.
It is brewer approved. I sent it to Mark and Brad from Common Law Brewery, and Mark was like, "This is really good. This is an amazing beer," and I was like, "Holy crap! It's actually brewer approved." So I might have a future in the biz, kids. Might have a future in the biz.
Love it.
So one of the interesting laws I found, but then I looked up the Idaho statutes, and I think it's since been repealed. But when you home brewed in Idaho, you had to use all Idaho ingredients, which would be very easy for you guys. But I think they were just doing that to stimulate local economy.
Barley and hops,
right?
And all that. Yeah, I'll just go down, walk into someone's backyard and take hops off their fence. I don't care.
So in Jersey, when I homebrewed, I started in like 2003. I actually was one of the suckers that used to get a license. Homebrewers in Jersey had to have a license until 2013.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just paid the government to make my own drink.
Government was like,
it made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
They just kept sending me the thing to fill out. I kept doing it, writing a check, and moving on.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They're sitting there laughing. Just
I was probably the only one.
Counting one.
Yeah.
A lot of states, it seems like they still have regulations as to how much you're allowed to produce per person, which, I mean, they're pretty high, but still, I thought that was interesting. Yeah. And also, last year I did a whole month-long segment on Prohibition, and one of the things was they would sell the ingredients to make wine and beer in grocery stores, but not advertise it as such. So it's they were, clearly encouraging that then, and it's interesting. I always fall down a rabbit hole with this stuff.
So in the beer news, I'm sure that most people that follow beer closely heard today, Bell's Brewery has sold to if I'm not mistaken, a Japanese company, the same one.
Australian Japanese. They're located in Australia as well.
Corinne, right?
Yeah. I think it's the same company that owns New Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. And and maybe one other. So big news. If anybody follows Larry Bell or knows of him and his I don't know what the word is and I'm looking for, but he has been a guy he has been a guy that's been very pro-independent brewery in that talk. So we've said it. Obviously, there's a lot of people that done pretty well during the pandemics that have gone on, but I think for the most part, I think that shutting down tap rooms like they have has created some real issues with a lot of breweries. So if you have those favorite breweries in your area that you enjoy, you got to make it a point to go visit them. You got to go spend money in their tap room. Buying beer off the grocery store shelf that has their company on it or their logo on it. I would tell you, does not cut it, especially if they're self-distributed. That margin for those guys is pennies, really, to be honest with you. The grocery stores own that market. So go visit them, spend money in person, buy a gift certificate for friends, family, for holidays, even people that may not be fans. Just buy them a gift certificate for something. Maybe they'll stop in and find something they like. So I think that if people don't realize when companies like that are making very, very big, moves to sell a company that size and what they were of the independent beers, kind of don't see the writing on the wall. I will tell you guys, there's going to be some behemoths that don't make it through this. And I think that if anybody is a business person and sees what's happening with Stone Brewing, if something doesn't change there, that's going to be a brewery that we don't see around much longer. I know there's not a lot of fans of those guys right now, but there's a lot of other breweries that are struggling the same as those guys. So go visit your local brewer, buy some gift certificates, take your friends and family, buy beer for the holidays, do what it is that you can do. But the beer market is tough. And I we've had Brian on it's probably been a couple of months now, Brian Roth from Good Beer Hunting. He was kind of the one that broke the story, I think, for the Bell's transaction. If you don't follow him on social media, especially if you're in the beer world, if you work in that industry or in, a brewer or thinking about it or have a brewery, and you don't follow his Twitter and see what's happening with the craft beer market this year, I won't say that it's alarming, but it definitely needs to get your attention. What most people don't realize in the craft beer market is they've had double-digit growth for the past decade. Right. Anybody in business will tell you the first year you go from double-digit growth to no growth, there's a lot of people that aren't going to be able to pay their bills for very long, just because they were spending so much money trying to grow assets. There's a lot of debt out there that's associated with these breweries. Definitely take a minute, and I will tell you, even if you think your local brewery is doing well, go visit them. Because what you see on the surface isn't always what's going on underneath. I don't think there's anybody that would predicted that Bell's Brewery would have sold, and they've announced a transaction today. So that'll tell you there's a lot that goes on behind doors that never make it to the light of the public until it's done. So take that to heart. Take it for what it is that it's worth. But definitely go visit those breweries that you appreciate locally. Because I don't think that we've seen the end of it yet. And I think this next year, 2023 or 2022, is going to be pretty bad for some breweries that don't get that support. So go check those guys out. Terrible news, I think, for Bell's. I'm a big fan of Bell's Brewery. I hope that they're
two-hearted, yeah.
I mean, they're two-hearted.
Hop Slam is what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, Hop Slam. I mean, there's just so much of it. The Michigan beer world, right, is kind of, if you talk to, like, what is the state? Between Founders and Bell's, I don't think there's a more influential beer state in, like, the early craft beer explosion than Michigan. And to see both those guys now that are no longer independent brewers, and they're huge breweries. I mean, I think, one guy I was talking to today on a craft beer writers chat on Twitter, he kind of said it. Those guys are huge companies. If you can find, even in like the Main Street, the TGIF Fridays or the Applebee's or that sort of thing, if you see Bud Light on tap, generally Bell's Two Hearted is right next to it, throughout the country. So that's a beer, and that's a company that is very Main Street, that is now, kind of reached their point where they're like, hey, we can't do this on our own anymore. So it's kind of telling, pretty scary. Definitely should open some eyes.
I looked it up. Anchor was actually bought by Sapporo, whatever it is.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Unibrew is owned by them as well, the one in Canada. So
And
a
that's-
lot of these ones are getting bought up.
And that company is the same one that owns New Belgium, correct?
Yeah, New Belgium is the one is owned by Corinne. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty stable profile. I mean, whoever's running that company and writing those checks, they definitely have some deep pockets, because I know those breweries weren't cheap.
Yeah, I'm sure, especially New Belgium. Well, yeah, all of them.
Yeah. All right, let's go check in with the crew. Let's check in with Lauren down in Orlando first. Lauren, parting shots. What do we have to look forward to?
Parting shots. We just dropped an episode about shows that basically jumped the shark in their finale, but really we were recapping Dexter and giving you fun facts to get you ready for the new season. And spoilers, the first episode of the new season was awesome, and I'll leave it at that. So get your Showtime back up and running for the first time in over 10 years, because it was awesome. But yeah, if you need a recap of the show or just want fun facts, check out our latest episode on Geeks. And next week, we're going to have a podcast guest. But in 2 weeks, we're going to have a really fun episode, because we got Disney Plus Day this weekend with a whole bunch of new Marvel and Star Wars news is going to be coming out, as well as Disney news. And we're going to get you ready for Ghostbusters, the new movie. And we'll be watching the old Ghostbusters movie. And if we had watched it this past week, we would have gotten the reference in the Hot Barons commercial. But we are idiots, and I have not watched that movie in years. So that's basically what's going on with Geeks.
I know. I'm excited for that movie to come out next week too. It's supposed to be
I
really
know. And it's been so long, too, in the making.
good. True.
And Paul Rudd was just named the sexiest man alive.
He is though.
Always great content from the geeks. MASH, parting shots. What do we have to look forward to?
Yeah, Lauren summed it up pretty perfectly. I might have some winery content next weekend for us here. I know Chris and I were actually on the bottle share side of things discussing some ideas as well, so maybe we'll have something here soon. As always, Bottle Share, hey, make sure you go check them out, thebottleshare.org. And yeah, man, it's always a blast. I love cooking, so I'm glad that I can kind of combine two things that I'm passionate about, beer and cooking, into one thing. And we got some fun new segments coming through. So, and also, if you haven't checked your Facebook Messenger and you're part of the Secret Santa, my wife sent out the matches, the pairs, whomever you have, this past weekend. So make sure you check that. December 18th will be our Secret Santa. We are already at that time of year again. Last year was a wicked good time. This year we chose to do it on a Saturday because I'm not trying to go to work hurting like we did last year. So
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
Do we have a set date that everybody should mail their package by?
no, but I mean December 18th is going to be when we're going to do it. So I feel like as long as that should
They're in by
tell you
December
right
10th.
there. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
first week of
Get-
December. Yeah.
get
Yeah.
it to everybody by December 10th, I would say, and that way we can be ready to go on that Saturday. And I got some bombers I've been eyeballing that will break open some bombers, and we're gonna have a really good time.
So make
What-
sure you order your happy hour vitamins beforehand, too. Maybe I'll throw a pack in for my Secret Santa.
What I will tell you is you don't want to be the asshole whose person you were supposed to be the Secret Santa for on the other end doesn't have
Last year
beer.
to you, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it sure
no, that's right.
It sure did. You don't want to be the asshole whose package doesn't make it in time, so your person doesn't have anything to open. So
Didn't you get it like the next day?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was a
It was something like
but
that.
yeah, man, Chris, I'll be chatting with you soon, and we became best friends tonight. Every
Yeah,
week, our
that's
bond
tight.
grows closer.
Chris, parting shots. What do we have to look forward to from Hop Barons, and where can people find you guys on the social media?
Yeah, so everything social media is /Hop Barons. Yeah, I remember the day Jay and I went and grabbed it. We weren't even a company yet, so we just wanted to make sure we had that. Also, you can go to our website, which is www.hopbarons.com. And yeah, if there's ever any issues, you can DM us. It's either myself or Jay always responding. You have questions with cooking, what to make, reach out to us that way. I mean, that's one of the the pillars of our company is we're small, and we are going to have those direct conversations. Matt, since we are best friends now, obviously, you were talking about airmen, and if you cook for them, if you do, let me know, and we'll send out some brine, whatever you need on us. Obviously, we
for
have,
sure.
big military week this week. Appreciate everyone. I have a couple friends in it, so. But yeah, other than that, check out our website, our Instagram. We got some new stuff, and if people like samples and want to be a part of the taste testers, we got some things we're looking forward to for next year. Some injections, maybe some rubs for like bread and olive oil dips. So we're trying to be creative. So just, I appreciate you guys having us all the time.
My wife will work that dip stuff over like you haven't even seen before. Yeah, that'll be one of her favorite products for sure.
Well, we didn't even talk about the barbecue contest we decided to do on a whim.
Nice.
Jeremy and I talked a little bit about it, but we did a barbecue, like a full-on barbecue contest. Bought a smoker, had a RV.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
It was sort of insane, but that's actually where we came up with the idea. Well, the chef, who's our buddy's brother, he was like, "What about like some bread dips?" I was like, "Sure, let's mess around with it."
Yeah.
I told you, charcuterie season. It's always charcuterie and bread dip season for this guy here.
I agree.
I'm looking forward to trying them out myself. Chris, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
It's always great to have you on and talk barbecue and food for sure. Hey, shout out to all of those in the chat that's tuned in, especially the family. Just seen Brad chimed in there. Patrick is in the recent comments. Hoppy Mommy's mommy, and that's far back as I'm scrolling right now. But appreciate
My dad was in there, and he did confirm it was freezing. Sorry.
Yeah, that sucks. We'll figure it out. I'm not, like I said, I've just got moved up here today. This was the room that was initially set up for this sort of thing, and our son occupied it for too many years, and just left this week. So we'll get it sorted out hopefully before, well, I guess next week I won't be here. So
I'm running it. I got you.
yeah. Mash is going to be running it for us. So, but we'll get it sorted out and figure out what's going on. I'll get something set up soon enough and get this stuff sorted out. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Check us out on Hops News everywhere, podcast. Check out the Feeling Lucky crew and go pick yourself up some Hardywood Stout, because I can damn near promise you it's just down the road. And also, man, I will tell you right now, the wife and I, yesterday was my last day at my current employer, and we went out and drank a few too many last night, and I definitely woke up.
You carried it on today, too. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. I definitely drank a few too many and woke up with some happy hour vitamin needs. So go check those guys out. I swear by them. They definitely work. Got what you need. And we'll be having a segment by those guys soon as well. We're going to produce some content. They're going to sponsor a segment, and we're going to be able to do some giveaways to give away some product, so that people can see that, hey, we don't buy it just for ourselves because we think it works. It actually works. So go check those guys out.
Wednesday.
Yeah, for sure. And Thursday morning. And Thursday morning is the important